Very good afternoon, everyone, and we welcome you all to the last group, or rather, phase one fixture, after which we will be going into a hiatus, a brief hiatus for national games. And amongst us, we have two teams who are all set to lock and load, who are all set to unleash absolute fury in the ongoing Odisha Women's League. Amongst us, we have the KISS football girls who will be duking it out with TARINI Football Academy. And we are live from the Kalinga Football Stadium. Both the teams, they'll be hoping to prove a point. They'll be hoping to showcase what they are made of. And at the end of the day, it is going to be a crucial challenge considering the fact that they will be putting their best foot forward. And the two captains stepping out in the center. The match officials for the day: Vishnu Priya Das, the referee; Pinky Hansda and Arati Mohanty, the assistant referees; and Shubhashmita Rani Rao, the match official, who are going to officiate in this battle. And match commissioner is Srimati Sudipta Das. Quick word between the two captains. Leading SS is Ankita Nayak, and leading Tarini Football Academy is Kuni Munda. We'll wait for the teams to take the center stage. It's been an enthralling league, to be honest, and truth be told, in both these teams, they'll be hoping to put up a show. And you're watching this game live on the official YouTube channel of Football Association Odisha and Sports KPI. And as you can see, the idyllic scenes of the Kalinga Stadium, the epicenter of what is going to be an enthralling battle of football between KISS football girls and Tarini Football Academy. Quite an important stage, quite an important opportunity and platform for all these incredible young girls who are looking to embrace a dream that at one point in time looked difficult, that at one point in time looked challenging, a dream that's now giving them the all important wings to fly and attacking on your frame from the left to the right, dressed in their sky and somewhat of a part yellow is KISS football girls, and attacking on your frame from the right to the left, dressed in their signature and the menacing grey is and it is KISS, or rather KIIT, who's gotten us underway. Tarini Football Academy on the prowl straight away, can be trouble. And after the ball, the ping ponging of a couple of players, it goes out. A good start there, a fine run there by Kunti Bhumia. However, it is going to be a goal kick for KIIT actually. However, possession falls back for Tarini Football Academy, and they try to switch it between themselves, pushes it all the way back to their goalkeeper. Not much of a challenge, to be honest. Ranjita Patra under the sticks, sends it lurching forward. A bit of a race there for possession, and eventually it is Tarini Football Academy who will get the possession in their favour. Throw in for themselves. A short throw taken quickly. A lovely launch into the box. Danger's not over. A long ranger attempted by Kunti Bhumia. Second time in a row in the span of the last 90 seconds that she's ventured into the opposition half and gotten them the grandiloquent overture that they were looking forward to. Quickly cleared away. And that was powerfully struck. Goes out of play for a throw-in. Will stay with Tarini Football Academy. Sends it further forward. Stays with TFA. A bit of a step on the ball. Loses out the balance. Appealing for a throw-in. And the referee does accede to that. Possibly a long throw-in. Got to be floated in by KIIT. In fact, it was Tarini Football Academy. Jamming it into the boots. A good start, a decent Belgrade start there from Tarini Football Academy, hoping to get that early goal, hoping to create the early pressure. From the right, a bit of a tussle for the ball. Purnima Munda loses out, but reclaims possession for themselves as well. A nice, delicate chip, way to perfection. Possession stays with Tarini Football Academy, a good bit of twist and turn. However, KIIT does well to reclaim possession for themselves. Falls back for TFA. And TFA looking desperately for clearance, but have lost the ball. It's a fine run from the left, scooting forward, but eventually hoping to get across in the mix out there. Kinds of miscue the hit there, straight into the hands of Ranjita Patra. Ranjita sends it down. Once again, tussle onto that far right. A good bit of a dummy there, and eventually gets a throw in as well, is it? Koni Munda, in fact, looks like the touch actually came off a KIIT player, and they are not really intransigent with what the stickler has to say. So a throw in, another opportunity here for KIIT to try and get the ball back in their favor, but they just clear things away at the expense of a throw in. It's going to be another chance for Tarini Football Academy to try and drive forward. Another long ball. This can be trouble brewing on the horizon. Confusion and chaos reigning supreme. But a sensational save out there by the goalkeeper of a KIIT, standing tall under the sticks. It was Jema Soy. And Jema kind of keeping her eyes on the ball till the very last moment. And that was very, very crucial in that save. Ideally, when there are 2 to 3 players running alongside you, you need to have yourself fixed on the ball. And that's exactly how you're going to go ahead and take the ball back in your control. And that's exactly what Jema did. Kind of averting what could have been an early downfall of the Citadel for KIIT. KIIT under a bit of early pump in Tarini Football Academy, trying to capitalize that opening that they have already got themselves. A good ball, knitted together, knitted towards the right. In fact, nicely kept in play. And now Tarini Naik with another long ball, but straight into the hands of Jema. And Jema with no problems whatsoever. Jema with a long goal kick as well. Not too many tests yet for Jema. Does well to go for that outside dodge and send it further forward. This can be a golden opportunity. A fine run by Tarini Naik from the right. Goes for the cross, but intercepted well enough by KIIT. Danger's not over. Possession lingers around for Tarini Football Academy. And does well. Kusum Munda hoping that he could have actually laid claim to the ball. Ball's back for KIIT. KIIT now to the left. And a bit of a gentle nudge, but not really where it should have been. Goes out of play. Another long throw. Intercepted by KIIT. Trying to keep the ball under control. Another long ball being attempted. But well taken numbers. And then emasculated enterprise there. Not really making much sense. And a bit of a push and shove onto the right. Eventually the ball goes out of play. It is Kuni Munda who was trying to lay claim to possession. But that was not the case. Throw in here for Tarini Football Academy. It has been the right wing so far that has made all the noise for TFA. And they try and replicate their earlier belly grins over and over again. Good thinking, to be honest. It's going to be a throw in. They'll take their time. They are in no rush. Either they know that at this point in time they are the team calling the shots. Does well to go for that outside dodge. Looking for a possible delivery in the mix. But then kind of runs into traffic there. Good understanding there by Kunti Bhumia. Another ball in the danger area, but KIIT does well to deal with it. And eventually does well to control the ball as well. Exceptional stuff. There, the control under the pump, I mean, that was absolutely extraordinary. Another long ball, hoping that one of the players would latch on to it. But ideally, when you're trying to, well, that is a lovely delivery. We'll have to take a look whether the flag stays down or not. It actually has stayed down. Cross comes floating in. And for the time being, KIIT not really threatening much. It was more of a scrappy chance that popped out of a bigger scheme of things. That's good goalkeeping there, Ranjita Patra. Cool and collected under the sticks out there, taking a couple of pieces down the deep box and wrapping her gloves around the ball. Good work altogether. Now stays with Tarini Football Academy. A bit of a challenge altogether. Quite a clattering one, to be honest. Another long race with the ball. In fact, it can be a 2v1 if TFA are able to snatch the ball for themselves, but not to be good alert defending altogether. Keeping our eyes on the ball out there. It was the captain of KIIT, Ankita Naik. There's an opportunity here for TFA now to try and come closer, try and use the set piece in their favor. A good bit of twist and turn out there. Good control there by Malli Munda. Malli Munda goes for the long ranger. However, Gemma does well to step up and collect that without much of a fuss. Trying her luck from range there. Malli Munda would have been a fine opportunity, to be honest, had the ball gone to her right by an inch or so. Could have been a stern test altogether for Gemma. KIIT reclaims possession now and trying to drive forward. However, Tarini Football Academy does well. For a moment, it felt like it could have been one of those threatening moves altogether. KIIT, their passing has been really all over the place, and I think those missed passes is somehow allowing Tarini Football Academy to bolster their vice in the game, make those runs forward. Once again, falls back for Tarini Football Academy. Purnima Munda sends it further forward. Good bit of receive there by Kunti Bhumia, who is now shuffled to the right from that central channel. Going to be a throw in here for KIIT. KIIT not really looking at their very best. They're kind of being challenged at this point in time and time again by Tarini Football Academy. Looks like there is a solid chasm of tactical brilliance between the two sides, but Tarini Football Academy, they haven't seemed positive in terms of their finishing sting either. When you are trying to penetrate, when you're trying to score those goals, you will need more power and precision. And so far, Gemma has done a decent job under the sticks altogether. Good bit of work there, pretty cheeky, but ensuring the fact that every touch counted. Balls back for KIIT as they try and drive forward. All the way back to Gemma again, and Gemma, she is brimming with confidence right now. Barely phased at all. Quite a few times the ball has come to her. In fact, one of those long ranges that was on target from Tarini Football Academy did prove to be a solid test. But she's come out with flying colours and distinction altogether. Another attempt to try and go for that defence splitting through ball by Tarini Football Academy. Unfortunately, that found a blockade along the way. It is going to be a throw in here for TFA once again. And KIIT, they still have a long way to go. At this point in time, they are weathering the storm. Had a gilt-edged chance fall for them in their own half, but couldn't really make the most of it. They're now slowly and steadily stepping up. Another through ball attempted, but well dealt with. Continues to fight in that central line. Plays forward a decent delivery, and KIIT does well to draw a foul out there from the opposition. Sanjana almost at her wit's end. Didn't knew actually what she had to do, so had to get that challenge in place because the KIIT player, I think she was well in place to go for that defense splitting run. Looks like it's Joshna Mundari who's going to be the one with the free kick. It's free kick as well, right footed in swinger. An opportunity for Joshna. Here comes the shot, but then once again pretty obtuse, to be honest. Not really having much staying on that occasion, and now Tarini Football Academy might have some space to try and hit KIIT on the break, but KIIT does well to recover. Tarini Football Academy snatches it back emphatically, does well to twist and turn around. Salge Soren was on the ball and wanted to play it onto the left, where she was being overweighted by Rila Nekka. Is it? Apologies, Tarini Naik rather. A good ball forward, but once again, not much of a challenge there for Tarini Football Academy. Keeps things under control. TFA does well to try and drive the ball forward. Headed away to safety. Kunti Bhomia has dropped down deep enough. TFA kind of desperate for possession. Sends it to the left and goes for a long ranger. Takes a deflection and gets stopped. Could have been another danger sign flashing. And now Tarini Football Academy hoping to hit KIIT on a break, but not to be. KIIT wins the ball back and now scoots forward in anticipation of a possible threat. Tarini Football Academy, their defenders are solid as well. An exquisite work, to be honest, there by Sanjana, who has been marshalling her troops in a pretty efficient fashion, going from the left to the right. And I think that was very, very well done. And for the ones who are tuned in, this game is coming to you live on the official YouTube channel of Football Association Odisha, or FAO is what we call it, and Sports KPI. Another long throw, this time for KIIT. But intercepted by Tarini Football Academy, and they do well to try and keep that, is it? A bit of a heavy touch on that occasion, and Kunti Bhomia, she has been the key architect of Tarini Football Academy's domination so far. The way she has run up and down the ground, the way she has covered those many yards, I think it is simply incredible. The kind of workload that she has taken on her back just tells you volumes about how dedicated, how committed to she is to the game. 16 minutes on the clock. Goes all the way back to Ranjita. Ranjita out of the line. Oh, this can be trouble. That's a cheap concession and poor defending as well. An open goalkeeping ahead. Danger still not over. And against the wind of play, it is KIIT who secures the lead. One moment of madness, one moment of instinctive brilliance out there from KIIT. And what a fine finish. Despite all the confusion, a lovely follow through and a thunderous hammering into the back of the net from Angela Mandari gets KIIT in the driver's seat, even though by a slender margin. Talk about finishes, talk about letting your guards down for a split second. That's exactly what TFA did. A very poor pass altogether coming in from Ranjita Patra, which was intercepted by KIIT. And the moment they sensed out an opening, all they had to do was drive forward with fury in numbers, drive forward in spades and roses. And an invitation like that was not declined. It was hammered into the back of the net as KIIT secured the opener. What a start this has been for both the teams. It has been Tarini Football Academy dictating the game in terms of tactical solidity. But when it comes to getting the all-important opener, all-important goal, it is KIIT who's done the job already. Now it's going to be a throw in here for KIIT, looking forward, hoping to create a bit of doubt in the opposition mind. And now Tarini Football Academy, they'll have to come up with something solid, something pretty strong, to be honest. KIIT looking forward. Now from the left, Tarini Football Academy. Kind of desperate on that occasion. Not the best of footballing maneuvers that you would see. Another long ball straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Easy pickings out there. She'll just take her time. And a bit of challenges now. The left and right. Both the teams kind of scrambling for possession. Here's an opportunity again. Twisting and turning around. But eventually at the end of the day, the ball kind of stays out of the center. Knocking the ball around as quickly as they can. KIIT once again on the prowl. And the best part about KIIT is that they somehow, despite all the pressure on them, they have held a solid shape in their defense. And every single time the ball has come nearby, they have cleared out with everything they could. But for Tarini Football Academy, it was said before that you might need together a web of dominion, a barrage of attacks, and yet if you're unable to find the back of the net, all the good work that you're doing, that kind of goes out of the window. And that's what you need to be very, very particular and careful about. Tarini Football Academy now with the ball. And now drives it further forward. Here's a chance for them through that center field. They almost mutter along. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case anymore because KIIT does well to intercept. Only for a moment, however, Tarini Football Academy, quick and vigilant, keeping their eyes on the ball, bounces upon possession. And now slowly and steadily they drive forward. That's a lovely ball. Here's a chance for the equalizer. Unfortunate, however, the flag's gone up and all the hard work, all the brilliance knitted together have ebbed away. What a golden opportunity and a good use as well by Tarini Football Academy. I think they were sensing it out as quick as they could. But then that timing of the run, I think that was slightly off the charts. And a massive sigh of reprieve altogether for KIIT. And now KIIT comes in from the right. A good bit of run once again there from Sitamani Baske. And going for the long ball, but straight into the hands of Ranjita Patra. And I think Ranjita Patra, she'll be hoping to redeem herself after what looked like a very emasculated and pedestrian pass that eventually proved to be the unraveling of KIIT, of TFA rather, in case of that first goal. And since then, Tarini Football Academy, they've tried as hard as they could. There's another opportunity. Good ball forward now. Twist and turns around. Pushes it towards the right. Here's another opening. Tarini Football Academy. That was another sensational run from Tarini Naik. By the time Gemma came out of a line, I think Tarini lost her footing and lost the entire plot as well. She had a mission on mind, but by the time she was there, in order to materialize, in order to manifest what the objective was, that went out of the window. You always need to be sharp enough in order to snatch the chances that comes your way. KIIT back on the ball here. And they might just go for that long ball as well. That's exactly what they do. It's kind of overpowered on that occasion. Danger's not over. Once again, poor passing. Falls back for KIIT. And now they try and use that left wing. Good defending, however, by Tarini Football Academy. Pushes it away. Here's another long ball straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Simple collection altogether for Ranjita Patra. Has been beaten once. Really need to think about how to go about her business. And there's one thing that she'll have to do, that is forget the mistake that she's done. One of the key mantras of contact sports like football and hockey are that you have to let bygones be bygones. Mistake made, lesson learned, start implying them. It's as simple as that. Pushes it back again. Another long trip forward. KIIT kind of lacking that speed which was needed. A fine run altogether. But eventually couldn't really beat the sturdy stature of Gayatri Das, who did well for Tarini Football Academy. Get the ball out. And the throw have been well intercepted once again by KIIT. And by the time they could drive forward, there was a defender in place, getting it out of play. Good thinking altogether. Throw in for KIIT. And Tarini Football Academy standing tall, not really bothered. They know that they've conceded, but if they have to come back in this game, it has to be them and them only. Here comes Tarini Football Academy. A chance from the right, a lovely cross in the box. And Kunti Bhumia, take a look at how she quickly shuffled into the center. Danger's not over. Possession lingers around. Here's a chance again as they come in from the left. Another long ball, but decently worked away by a KIIT. Malli Munda now starting to ask a few questions altogether to the women in yellow and blue. And can KIIT answer? For the time being, they do. And they drive it further forward. Referee keeping a keen tab on affairs. Tarini Football Academy again. Back with TFA, and TFA with another long ball. KIIT does well to clear away their lines. TFA kind of bouncing back on that occasion. This time Purnima Munda ringing out a throw-in for themselves. And football is a very unpredictable game. At any point in time, things can flip, and it's really good to see how the referee continues the game with a smile on her face. I think for these young kids, it's not always about the stick. At times, you also need to administer them with smiles and warmth and and whatsoever possible, to be honest. It's an opportunity. Another long ball sent forward, and that bobbles out of play. No real trouble whatsoever. It's going to be a throw in for Tarini Football Academy. Here's another opportunity. A little bit of push forward. Once again intercepted. Eludes everyone in the process. TFA. They're seeing the ball a lot. Truth be told, they have been mighty close in terms of possession. And they have been mighty close in terms of knitting together the attacks as well. But truth be told, if you take a look at the last 10 to 12 minutes, I think the way KIIT has called the shots, the way they have come forward, every single counter attack that has knocked on their doors, they have kind of come forward and pounced upon it. Here's another sensational delivery forward. Knocks it around everywhere. There's an opportunity. And a bit of entanglement of boots. Referee says that's by the books itself. Let's go for the run forward. A good cheeky touch there by KIIT. Could have been controlled. Keeps on bobbling of each other. A good bit of twist and turn. It's a chilly winter afternoon in Odisha. And that's another fine delivery. KIIT threatening to score again. The shot could have been better. Kind of getting a bit too ahead of herself and running of boots over the ball instead of going behind the ball. And that is what took the power out of that shot. But this can be an opening for Tarini Football Academy. 1 versus 2 situation. But KIIT, they do an excellent job of snatching the possession away. What a great start to the game this has been by KIIT. They defended in numbers initially, but when the time was right, they were coming forth. And they were coming forth with intensity. Here's an opportunity again. The ball keeps on pinging off each other. Throw in favor of KIIT. They're okay right now at this point in time. They know that a solitary goal, that cushion, can always be snuffed out in a flash altogether. Another long ball hammered away at the expense of a throw-in. Looks like a couple of changes out here for Tarini Football Academy. They are planning to bring in more firepower. Manisha Behera is one of them, and the other being Sudoki Munda. Let's see if these changes can bring about a change in fortunes. Going out for them is Tarini Naik. So, twin changes at the half-hour mark. You can call it tactical. No injuries have so far been spotted. This game has rolled about pretty nicely. KIIT from the right again. Sensing out an opening. Coming all the way, and by the time Angela Mandari, the goal scorer, could have actually crossed the ball in. A crucial interception out there, leading to a corner. The corner will have to be retaken, of course. Well, in fact, the corner has been wasted. It's going to be a goal kick actually for Tarini Football Academy. Ranjita Patra, the goalkeeper. And stays with KIIT for the time being. Good bit of ball control, nimble-footed, pretty dynamic to be honest. Another gentle trip forward. And that's a confirmation. Sudoki Munda comes in, Gayatri Das goes out. And now trying to drive forward, another change that was made. Manisha Behra came in place of Tarini Naik. So interesting changes. Both the players coming out are attackers rather, one of them a CAM, the other being an out-and-out striker, which kind of clearly gives you the hint that Tarini Football Academy, the coach, hasn't exactly been pleased by what she's seen up front. Stays with TFA. Is it? No, KIIT. They might have another opportunity lurking on their doorsteps. A good back flick, but not a controlled one. Interception from TARINI Football Academy, and now they drive forward. Can they sense out something? Not really. The Odisha Women's League. This is the first phase going on, and the last game of the first phase as well. So stay tuned, everyone, on the official YouTube channel of Football Association Odisha and Sports KPI, where this game is coming to you live. And if you're anywhere close by, you can drop into the Kalinga Football Stadium, where this game is going live. You can always watch this game. It's going to be a massive, massive support as well. Apologies about that. It was a bit of a technical glitch at our end. And yeah, we are back and the ball goes out of play. Looks like KIIT are now looking a lot more threatening. They are a lot more dangerous altogether as the opportunities keep on brewing. Throw a goal kick rather for Tarini Football Academy. It's going to be Archita Raut. Not the best of goal kicks that you would see. And this is exactly what KIIT has been anticipating and waiting for. Cheap concessions just outside the box, kind of compounding the danger altogether. KIIT does well to keep the possession under control. Acres of space ahead. A bit of a push from the back, and that is definitely a foul. The referee blowing the whistle. And as you can see, a bit of question marks hither and yon. There's an opportunity for KIIT, a chance for them to double their lead. Ankita Naik, their captain, with the free kick. Can she make this count? Ankita goes for a flat one, takes a deflection of the wall. The three-personal wall being posted in front of Ankita leads to a corner, the first corner of the afternoon for KIIT. Looks like with every passing second, they have seemed a lot more dangerous, a lot more destructive, and a lot more rampant as well. Free kick. Sitamani Baski goes for the corner, headed away to safety. Danger's not over. Shot comes from range. And a very good defending altogether from the substitute, Sudoki Munda. But then the drive forward could have been better. Goes out for a throw in. There's an opportunity now. Plays it to the left. Good twist and turns. Again, loses out possession. Here's an opportunity for KIIT, not to be. Another long ranger, but this time way off target. And a goal kick for Tarini Football Academy. At this point in time, Tarini Football Academy really needs someone who can step up at their very best. At this point in time, they really need someone who can be the messiah, who can be the savior altogether. Because currently, it has been all over the place. Another long goal kick. Bit of a tussle for the ball. Close to that center line. Back for KIIT again. Now KIIT driving forward even further. A bit of confusion once again. The communication between the two defenders has been all over the place. They have tried as hard as they can, but somehow the other things haven't really worked out. There's another quicker delivery. Good twist. They're now trying to latch onto the ball. Opportunity. And the delivery going slightly haywire. Here's an opening for KIIT to try and increase the numbers up front, because considering the passes that has come in from TFA, something like that, too many missed passes, it has allowed them to breathe a lot easier. It has allowed them to bolster their grip on the scheme, and it has allowed them to stay afloat in this fixture despite these spasmodic bursts of brilliance altogether from Tarini Football Academy. Time and time again they have threatened, yes, but again the threats have been more of a blank fire. Hasn't exactly been the promise and the precision that you would look forward to in a football match. And this time, decent bit of work, nicely headed down. Good control altogether. Trying to control possession. Sticks around in the left. KIIT desperate to clear their danger lines, and they eventually do. Could have also been a counter-attack if they would have found the right personnel. At this point in time, there hasn't been any intensified frowns on the visages of KIIT. Here comes Tri Football Academy, all the way from the right, keeps it under control. Apologies, Tarini Football Academy. And now Tarini Football Academy looking for a bit more space going forward. But not to be. Referee blowing the whistle on that occasion. It's going to be a free, it's going to be a throw-in rather. A quicker throw. Does well to control. Possession falls back for KIIT, slightly scrambling around in the center. Does well to drive forward once again. Not to be. Here's a chance. And now scooting forward, hoping to lay claim to possession, is Tarini Football Academy. Decent bit of work. They venture forward from the right. A bit of a trip, but keeps it under control. Possession stays alive. A goal scoring chance. But good close down off the avenue in front by KIIT. Exceptional defending, resulting in a corner for Tarini Football Academy. What a fine run that was. Kuni Munda pulling the strings of madness, trying to knit together a ball to perfection. It's going to be a corner for Tarini Football Academy. A chance for them to try and compound the lead, or to try and restore parity rather. A bit of goalkeeping howler altogether from Gemma. She completely lost the ball. Luckily, that was not on goal. Had it been on goal, could have been a massive trouble altogether for KIIT. That lead that they have right now would have blown up in smoke. That was not the case. And a comfortable goal kick at the end of the day allows KIIT to go further forward. And once again, it is that left wing. Somehow that one particular wing has been the buzzword for both the teams. For Tarini Football Academy, it has been that right. They have been that one-trick pony, trying to use the right wing over and over again. And same with KIIT as well. More of a one-dimensional team coming all the way from the left, trying to carve open a bit of shooting space. But as things stand, exactly hasn't been what they have been looking forward to. Here's a chance again. And a lovely cross comes in from the left. Could have been danger. The defenders, they do an exceptional job of keeping the ball away. And now Tarini Football Academy on the prowl. That kind of runs into the defender over and over again. And eventually KIIT reclaims possession for themselves. There's a chance. Falls back. There's another opportunity. And now slowly knocking on the doors forward again. But KIIT claims it back, steps forward, hoping for more room ahead of themselves. Not to be. TARINI Football Academy, watchful and vigilant, will get that danger line out for a second or two. Decent bit of clearance on that occasion. Gonna be a throw in. Taking a time, no rush. Not a fine delivery forward. Runs into a defender. And that will go out. Off play, another corner. This point in time for KIIT. KIIT still threatening. Here's a chance again. Sitamani Baski with the corner, hoping to whip that in to create some danger. That's a decent corner, to be honest. A bit of subtle curl as well on the ball. And possession stays alive with KIIT from the right. Trying to keep the ball under control, not to be. And a good push through that center line once again. Another opportunity. And this time hitting the referee. And the referee will of course stop the ball and restart proceedings with a drop off. 1.5 minutes of regulation time to go. And off we resume from the left. KIIT still desperate for possession just at the edge of the box. Just hoping to double up that lead, get an insurance goal at the stroke of half time. Bobbles off each other. Last minute of regulation time and whatsoever gets added on. There haven't been any stoppages whatsoever. Possibly a minute might be added. Still doubtful about that. Not even a solitary stoppage. All the players have rocked and rolled in phenomenal fashion until now. And as you can see, the girls are pumped up. Extremely passionate. Throw in here for TARINI Football Academy. The referee blowing the whistle once again. Another throw in for TFA. Final few seconds remaining. In fact, it looks like it's a free kick altogether for TFA, and it is going to be Malli Munda with the free kick. Malli Munda with an opportunity. Malli Munda goes for that long ball in the box, in danger. Once again, fizzling away by Whiskers. What a tantalizing delivery altogether. 2 minutes of added time. And this could have been some serious trouble altogether for KIIT. That lead might have been blown into pieces, but not to be, as TARINI Football Academy fails to capitalize. And this has been the tale. This has been their sorry tale for that entire first half. I mean, the girls have done an incredible job going forward, tactically well built and tactically well oiled. But every single time the question of finishing has risen, they have somehow been extremely lackadaisical. Too many questions altogether. And TARINI Football Academy, this might be a chance. Goes for a long ranger from a very difficult angle, but this time not on target as well. What a sensational opportunity. and that still fails to find the back of the net. Suddenly, Tarini Football Academy coming to life in the last couple of minutes, the additional time altogether. And that is what makes them so dangerous. Challenges everywhere. 30 more seconds to go before we head to the first or end of the first half. Throw in here for KIIT, and eventually possession stays with Tarini Football Academy. Once again, hitting the referee along the way. We'll have to restart that, unfortunately. Gets it rolling, and that's the first time whistle. With this, we come to the end of what has been a pretty entertaining first half, with KIIT and KISS Bhubaneswar leading so far with a goal from Angela Mandani. Stay tuned, everyone. We'll dive into a short breather and return shortly with the second half of the contest. Thank you, everyone. Welcome back, everyone, and we are all set for the second half of the contest. And as things stand right now, it's still KIIT who are leading this game so far with that solitary goal that came from Angela Mandari. And obviously, it goes without saying that they will be hoping to add more to what has already been a pretty decent display. And here's the chance for KIIT, an early start, an early jolt that they wanted to pass through TARINI Football Academy. Just to give you all a quick heads up, attacking on the frame this time from the right to the left, dressed in their blue and yellow, is KIIT. And attacking on your frame from the left to the right, dressed in their black and green, is TARINI Football Academy. And as things stand, it is still KIIT leading in this fixture 1-0. Brilliant first half finish from Angela Mandari, still proving to be the difference. And KIIT once again stepping forward from the right. Here's a chance, a bit of push. Possession stays alive for KIIT. Here's an opportunity, loses out the ball, but not to be. Back with KIIT once again, just outside that edge of the box. But TARINI Football Academy does well to clear their danger line. Stays with TFA still. I think TFA, they'll really do well if they can deploy a striker of a full-blown stature. They did bring about a couple of changes, but that wasn't enough to affect the tide of the game. Throw in here for KIIT, but not the best at throws either. Back with TARINI Football Academy. KIIT kind of scrambling for possession, but they lose it quite easily. Stays with TFA. And now TFA through the center, a good ball. Running on to the right is Kunimunda. Kunimunda stays on the ball, hoping to get that cross in. There, she floats it in. A bit of a wobble for Gemma Soy, but eventually collecting the ball without much of trouble whatsoever. Back with TFA. On from the left. Hoping to carve open a window of a chance. With KIIT, good defending from them as well. Kind of resolute and staunch in their vision. Here's a chance again. Good bit of push. Stems through. Rotating around. That's a fine release. And now KIIT might again have that space they are looking forward to. Wanted to go for that inside dodge. Possession stays in control, looking for the numbers as well. Twisting and turning around, and eventually a ballooning delivery into the box, but looks like the goalkeeper has been fouled on that occasion. Not much that she could have done. It was a fine run, and it was unintentional from both the players, and I think the goalkeeper possibly has jammed into the marauder on that instance. I think the medical officials will take a quicker look at this. Yeah, everyone's absolutely fine, and I think that is what matters the most. And off we roll once again. Back with KIIT, a fine ball released forward. But this time, good defending altogether from TARINI Football Academy. They were there, waiting for the ball to be played. I think it hasn't exactly been an ordinary display from TFA in terms of the defensive midfield. They really looked to control things, control the proceedings altogether. But then at the end of the day, it is of paramount importance that you need to get a very consolidated attack, which doesn't just mean that you dominate the midfield, you have finishers up front. It's as simple as that. Unless you're going to have that, no matter how good the attack has been, it will not bear fruit. It will not count. So, football, that is why we keep on saying that it is a game of collective brilliance. It is a game that brings everyone together. And unless you've got all the players, all hands in deck, it's a tough task to try and breach through unless you have a talisman in your ranks. A good fine ball knocked forward, and it stays with Tarini Football Academy, only for KIIT to snatch it away and drive further forward, but no play in the danger third, allowing Tarini Football Academy to reclaim possession for themselves. TFA through the center. And the TFA, they do well to step forth. The idea was to try and find that forward run, but not to be. It was Kuni Munda. Another long ball and a very delicate header as well that kind of allowed TFA to bring the ball down. Good defending. Danger is still not over. It's flashing bright. But finally KIIT managed to take the possession away from their counterparts. However, that throw is what will eventually help them to take the ball even further away. What a chance this was. What an opportunity this was for Tarini Football Academy to get that equalizer, to restore parity out here at the Kalinga Football Stadium. Throw in for KIIT. And as you can see, the coach of TFA, pretty worked up. Sanjeev Patashni. Back with KIIT again. Slams it into that defensive blockade of a couple of defenders. Pretty scrappy, to be honest. Once again, takes a deflection. KIIT reclaims possession for themselves. Sitamoni Baski. Back with Sitamoni. Sitamoni nudges it further forward. Good bit of work there by KIIT. Another long ball. Decent interception. Both the teams coming close on that occasion. There comes another lovely cross, but where was anyone? Had there been a play in front, this could have been the chance that they were looking forward to KIIT to find that insurance goal. What a golden opportunity. What a sensational run down the right, just in the way you would like it to be. KIIT back on track. KIIT still the danger side in the second half. Tarini Football Academy, they'll have work to do going forward, tiptoeing their way to what can be a close chance, but looks like by the time Kunni Munda could have had the ball under control, there was already a push that took the ball miles away and out of bounds as well. KIIT now from the left. Another opportunity brewing, is it? Trying to take their time. Angela Mandari, the goal scorer, sends in another delicate delivery. What a phenomenal cross that was. And agonizingly close it goes out. It goes begging. What a chance wasted. And I am pretty sure Tarini Football Academy must have had their hearts in their mouth. For a split second, that could have been goal number 2. And also the insurance goal they were looking forward to. On the contrary, though, Tarini Football Academy are on the move. However, it's a 1v4 situation. A lovely cross comes in from the right and a very timely interception there from KIIT eventually uh, saves their citadel for the day, keeps them afloat still 1-0. And now the game's turning out into a pretty oscillating box to box battle of two extreme forces. That's another long ball straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. No real threat whatsoever. Just the kind of start you would have expected to the second half. Solid enough, to be honest. TARINI Football Academy now through that centre line, through that centre field, looking for that shooting lane, but fails to capitalize. Another long ball. KIIT on their way forward, almost snatched the ball away. Both the teams not really able to create that convincing touch as they should be. A good bit of work, but then KIIT, that's very good interception. Good, powerful football close to that centre line and the centre field as well. This time the touch could have been better, far better. Back with TFA. And now TFA through the centre. And once again, excellent relaying of the ball there by KIIT. KIIT still continues to control possession. That's a good forward release on the right. There is another player and another long ball altogether. I think you'll expect these balls to be delivered in with precision. Unfortunately, it's not the case. Here they come from the left again. KIIT on the move. KIIT with a long ranger. And a bit of challenge, a bit of question mark rising for Ranjita Patra. Almost spilled the ball. And in fact would have landed further trouble for herself if she wouldn't have gotten the ball back under control. What a chance it was. But nonetheless, I think Tarini Football Academy, they really need to understand that at this point in time, they'll have to build this team. I mean, they'll have to dovetail together. They're kind of, when they're going out on attack, they are going for all-out attacks. But when they are going out on defense, when they're tracking back, things are not really working out for them, unfortunately. There's a chance again for TFA. And straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. As simple as it gets, we're about to complete an hour of football. An hour of exciting football between the two teams. TFA now going left and right, but not to be. Ball keeps on bobbling around at center. And here's an opening for KIIT again. Flag has stayed down. Now taking a couple of steps forward. Throw in for KIIT. I think in the second half, Tarini Football Academy, they have been a lot more lackluster than they were in the first half. Forget finishing, even that midfield play that they were knitting together in the first half, that has come somewhat gone out of the window. KIIT trying to penetrate with the delivery from the right, but not to be waylaid altogether. KIIT reclaims possession for themselves. Stepping up, that's a fine ball. Can KIIT just get hold of it when it mattered the most? But not to be. Half an hour remaining. KIIT quick to track back urgently, just in the way you would expect. The game has kind of slowed down. Here's another cross from the right there for TFA. And TFA now twisting and turning in decent fashion, to be honest. Here's another fine ball forward, but not to be. Back with TFA again. Rotates around, trying to intensify, trying to drum up more numbers in the danger third. Opportunity, cross comes in. Takes a deflection, goes in, goes out for a corner. Just the kind of aggression that you would like to see from TFA in order to make this match intriguing and fascinating, to say the least. Here comes the corner. A bit of a toothless delivery, to be honest, but possession does fall back for Tarini Football Academy. Throw in right now. And here comes the throw. Once again, KIIT kind of desperately latching on. There's another opening, and that's a fine delivery forward. Trying their very best and clear their lines as well. Not much of a threat on that occasion. Throw in here for KIIT. And once again, the ball stepping out of the bounds. KIIT coming closer and closer. Another good push. And a decent clearance as well by TFA. But that will go out for another throw in. Tarini Football Academy kind of desperate there to try and snatch the ball, but not to be. KIIT now knocks on the door from the right. Misses out. Takes a deflection and sends it further forward. Turns around. Stays in control. And that's another lovely ball in the box. Can KIIT keep that in control? They do, in fact. Help has arrived as well. Delivered into the box from the left. Danger's not yet over. Shooting lane open. A long ranger, but straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Ranjita Patra making no mistake in collecting that. 65 minutes. And it's still 1-0 in favor of KIIT. Referee blowing the whistle. Pushed in front, and again a decent clearance there from TFA. Throw in. Again, the throw in not really finding itself where it should have been, resulting in another throw in. And another lovely twist as well. And a delectable delivery, but then nicely repelled away by TFA. Goal kick for TFA. At this point in time, it's really looking a bit more challenging for TFA. It feels like they have been pinned down to their own half. They barely have been moving around. It has been all KIIT doing the damage. And if somehow they are able to find that insurance goal, this game can truly be over for TARINI Football Academy. Smashes it against one of their own. And now stepping forward, it is KIIT. Not much of an opening on that occasion. And now TARINI Football Academy trying to use that centre lane to their advantage. But not to be. KIIT back on the hustle. Switches it from the left, tries to keep the ball under control. But not to be. And still it's TARINI Football Academy stepping forward. Bit of a gentle nudge, and at this time a bit of miscommunication as well as the ball goes out of play. Square ball there. And KIIT was on the way forth, hoping to get another goal for themselves, but not to be. And now TARINI Football Academy once again knocking on the doors from the right. Kuni Munda. She has been instrumental, but she loses out the ball. And I think somehow or the other, the cohesive action, the cohesive intensity that we were all expecting hasn't been out there. Referee blowing the whistle on that occasion, awarding a free kick here in favor of TARINI Football Academy as we are about to enter in the last 20 minutes of this contest. Will there be more goals coming in? That still remains a question mark. Another long ball definitely came in, but straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. And this time the ball going out. Throw in to continue. That's a decent delivery up front. Back with TARINI Football Academy, the shooting lane might just be tantalizing them. Unfortunate, however, that they failed to utilize that before they could have gone for that shot. Defenders were already crowding them out. That's in the way you're supposed to. That's a good push as well. Here's another lovely ball, but this time missing out. Could have been better. Could have been far better, to be honest, but not to be. Another goal kick here for KIIT. Throw in here for Tarini Football Academy. And the ball keeps on bobbling off each other. Now, that's a good twist and turn. From the right, trying to take a chance, but not to be. Rattles it against the defender forward. And now KIIT, can they map out some space for themselves? I mean, the space was definitely there, but you need to put in a bit more power behind the pass. Now from the left, Tarini Football Academy, kind of desperate. I'll have to take a look. Who got the last touch to it? Looks like it actually came off a TFA player, so it's going to be nothing more than a goal kick, is it? Yeah, it is a goal kick in fact. And now gently pushing forward. And this time takes a deflection, goes off its actual chart. Still a bit of entanglement out there in the center. And eventually the ball goes out of play. And fine chance, but not to be. 72 minutes in. 18 minutes to go. From the left, another long ball forward. Nicely brought down. Twisting and turning, loses out her foothold on that occasion. And now Tarini Football Academy almost cracking open the defense. With a chance, and now another gentle push. Not to be. A good bit of work as well. Throw in here for KIIT. Tarini Football Academy now tries to snatch it back and put in a bit of substance as well. Stepping forward. The ball has been lingering around in that center field for a while now. Somehow or the other, all the good efforts that have been taken hasn't really bore the fruits. And the chance from the left takes a deflection, goes out of play. TFA trying to control that, and the kind of urgency being shown by KIIT. It's really good to watch. Those teams, they are holding no prisoners whatsoever. Every single chance that comes to them, that falls for them, they're trying to flip that in. They're trying to turn it into something grand. Throw in here for KIIT again. These young girls, it's really good to see that how they are playing at least. Because again, obviously, this is a stepping stone for them. So it's a long way for them to go forward. This is a massive platform that has been given as this game is being telecasted live worldwide. Another fine push, but not too much avail altogether. Both the teams now somewhat keeping the ball moving around in the center. Back with KIIT. KIIT now hoping to create a bit of difference. Another fine push. KIIT still with that lead, still with that slender lead, to be honest. All the way back to the goalkeeper. I think what now KIIT are also looking forward to is just keeping the possession intact for themselves. They're keeping the ball again. And you would hardly see TFA making the runs forward. That's another long ranger straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. And out of nowhere, startling Tarini Football Academy with one of those thunderbolts from range. It was KIIT almost about to get that insurance goal, and this time bobbling off one of the players and falling into the hands of the goalkeeper. It's Bharti Oram was already in front. 13 minutes to go in this game. And eventually the ball goes out as well of play. Falls back for KIIT. That's a long hit forward. Stays with Tarini Football Academy this time. And now Tarini Football Academy, it's been a long time that they have been in their own half, that they have been restricted to their own half. They have barely broken through the manacles. This might be a clue for them to come in from the right, but once again, KIIT defenders proving to be a bit too strong on that occasion. Throw in here for TFA. A shot throw taken. Played it to the left. And that's a good ball. Another good ball onto the left as well. And a fine delivery forward, but once again, the goalkeeper, cool, calm, composed, collects that. I think even if one of the players would have actually latched onto it from Tarini Football Academy, it still could have been a bit too difficult because most likely didn't time that run. They were well ahead of that final defensive line of of KIIT rather. So it could have been that offside trap. Now both the teams hoping to get a few late goals, hoping to induce a bit of late drama. And that is what you really look forward to. And that's another ball that was driven forward, but not to be. 10 minutes remain. It's a corner. Another opportunity for KIIT to try and double that lead of theirs, try and get that breathing space, that leeway between them and their counterparts. That wasn't the best of corner either. KIIT almost breathing on their neck. And finally, they do manage to win the ball. Gets another throw in for themselves. These aren't great signs altogether for Tarini Football Academy. In fact, these are ominous signs, to be honest. They'll take their time. They are in no rush right now. They'll try and steal away as many seconds as they can, unless Tarini Football Academy finds an equalizer. A good bit of curl on that. The ball bobbles inside the box and falls back for KIIT. They had no challenge whatsoever in pushing it all the way back to their goalkeeper. I think they love it. They love every single time the ball falls back in their box and there's no one chasing it. I mean, instead of just trying to get that sense of urgency and they can play the ball amongst themselves and keep the opposition at bay for longer. Tarini Football Academy goes for that decent outside dodge. That's definitely by the books. Shoulder pushes are allowed. Here's a cross. But again, no one who could have turned this cross into something significant. No one who could have actually made this count. Another long ball forward. And then a bit of chaos in the box, but eventually it's the goalkeeper of KIIT who collects that without much trouble. Great brand of football, great brand of attacking football that has been shown in the second half by KIIT. And Odisha Women's League, I think the way this tournament is so far panned out, it has been absolutely electric. The girls have enjoyed themselves. The girls have loved themselves in the way they have played. When you play a sport, when you play a game, you win some, you lose some. Here's an opportunity for KIIT. But at the end of the day, you really need to understand one thing is that at times you have to also keep yourself afloat. At times you also have to play a game, play the long game. At times you have to take your lessons as well. KIIT still on the ball. KIIT now, they've got some space ahead, a small pocket just in that center field, switching it away to the left. KIIT still on the ball, almost fighting for it. Another ball forward, but this time straight at the feet of Tarini Football Academy players. And now TFA, they come in from the right. Here's a chance. Here's an opportunity. They are appealing for handball. inside the box. The referee turns it down. I mean, that's kind of shocking, to be honest. What a chance that was. But again, at the end of the day, at times you've got to make do with things. Not always all the decisions will go for you. A closer look possibly would have given us clarity about whether that was a handball or not. And now, inching forward, KIIT. This is a good interception. He almost managed to ring the ball for themselves. Unfortunately, that was not the case. TARINI Football Academy did well to intervene and now even try and create an attack from the left. Throw in here for the women in black and grey. They have done everything they could. Once again, KIIT trying to poach out chances from that right. Something that has been the case in the first half as well. But this time they have used both the wings to their advantage, just in the way you would like it. Just the way things would open up a lot more for them. Throw in for KIIT. Again, another fine delivery. As this game inches closer to the finishing line, KIIT, they are enjoying themselves now. Goes to the left. Fine control. And Tarini Football Academy gets to savor a bit of possession for themselves. And now from the left comes in KIIT again. Knocked out of bounds for another throw in. Can KIIT get that winning goal as well? Can they put the match to bed once and for all? Ball stays in play. Not really. Referee says that's actually went down. Last minute of the regulation time. Possibly 2 to 3 minutes of additional time would be given. Stays with TFA. And now TFA almost managing to ring one out. One of those through balls that we are looking forward to. Can KIIT do it from the other end? Looks like they have a bit of space, driving forward with speed and intensity. It's a fine ball, but straight into the hands of the goalkeeper. Easy pickings. And with that, possibly the hopes of Tarini Football Academy are also getting dashed. 90 minutes over. 3 minutes of additional time. all the way back to KIIT as they drive forward once again. It's a long chase, and looks like no one is going to go ahead for that. Lets it slide comfortably enough. And as things stand, this has been a battle to remember, a battle to savor. Both the teams have done a phenomenal job until now, but I think in terms of goals, it has been KIIT who's shown the control, who's shown the confidence, and who's shown what it takes to remain afloat in a very closely contested battle like this. Top game, absolutely top game from the women in yellow and blue. But yes, they can do better. I mean, of course. But with that being said, I think at the end of the day, they will definitely take their time and savor the victory unless there's some late drama, unless there's a late twist and turn. Falls back for TFA, and now TFA kind of desperate. And again, too much power on that first touch. If you're putting too much power in that first touch itself, then I think you tend to lose possession as well. That second touch gets way too heavy. Well, a last minute card, or possibly the last roll of the dice. An interesting move altogether. Here's an opportunity for TFA. Floats that in. Continues to contest with the ball. Looks like the whistle has been blown, which means it went out of play. And now KIIT. They motor forward from the left, looking to use that wing to their particular advantage. And they can also play out the remainder of the time. And that is how we come to the end of the game. A stunning game of football meets its desired conclusion as KIIT emerged victorious over Tarini Football Academy KEONJHAR. Angela Mundani with the solitary goal of the match, propelling KIIT and KISS Bhubaneswar to a stunning and thrilling win. With this, we also come to the end of the first phase of Odisha Women's League. We'll now go into the breather, and we will return with further intense action from 19th of February. Thank you everyone for joining in with this. I, Rohit Ganguly, your commentator, will be signing off. And stay tuned to Sports KPI and of course the Football Association of Odisha Football channel for more exciting content. Thank you everyone.